entered into that field. So I myself am entered in there as an agent, and we're going to enter Will in there as an agent. So when we go to send an offer, we're going to show you the section that's going to allow you to designate and select who that agent's going to be that you're going to utilize. On the lower left portion there, oops, I just lost this here. On the lower left section there are some areas. Anytime you see a red asterisk, those are required fields. Don't worry too, if you don't have a company or a corporation, that's not required. We give you the option, obviously, to spell out your company. If you don't have one, we just would duplicate our information there with our address and contact information accordingly. How are you doing? Okay. On the right-hand side there, we have the ability to add a title and escrow company. For those of you that have been involved with or made offers on REOs, you do know that a lot of times the banks like to dictate which title and escrow company to utilize. If we are attempting to do back-to-back closings, we do want to usually have the ability to specify a title and escrow company that we know has had experience in doing those types of deals. In this case, in a lot of cases when we're dealing with REOs, we tend to put to be determined in our initial, and based on the evolution of a paper contract, we'll then go into that when we get closer to finalizing the terms. Right below that, you have the ability to specify your escrow amount. Now, a lot of people ask us when they get this system, well, what amount should I put there? When I'm doing stuff in California, it's going to be as low as minimally possible. Now, keep in mind, it's obviously a higher price point, so I typically select at least $1,000. But we're doing a lot of offers in the Midwest and a lot of lower to mid-level price points. I'm using $250 to $500 typically is the range I'm going to use. Over to the left are the boxes that I was talking about. Not every single one of those boxes are going to be checked when you get your system. What we want to do is we want to just make sure that all those are checked, and then at the bottom is our offer counter. Okay, every month that's going to reset. So it's going to give you a clear indication as to where you are in terms of how many offers you have left and how many offers you've made. Okay. Those percentages there on the bottom right are for one of our custom cover letters. It's a very powerful custom cover letter. It's called the cash flow analysis cover letter. Those numbers are pre-populated, and they do convert the numbers on a percentage of what your offer is into a cover letter that tells the realtor why you are making that offer. Aside from that cover letter, you don't need to manage or change those numbers at all. The two bottom fields, days to respond, are the number of days that we give a realtor to respond to our offer before we would basically say it's void. And below that are the days to close, 30 to 45 days, typically, what we're looking for. The two boxes below there are probably the most important fields in this section. Our contingencies to financing, essentially we're not going to provide one. We're going to be using transactional funding or cash, in which we'll provide a proof of funds letter upon request, or we'll show you actually how to attach one of those to go out with all your offers. And then most importantly is that next box. That is your contingency field. Essentially your way out if we can't wholesale or flip the property, if the price point just doesn't work, if we find something mechanically wrong with the property, foundation or structural issue that we did not or could not account for in our original offer, and the bank just won't work with us. Our intention there with that inspection period is to essentially flip the property during that time period. Usually it's 15 to 17 days before a deposit would be called for to go non-refundable, and that's the window that we like to utilize to the fullest. Right below there are probably the second most important fields that we're actually have the ability to go out and attach proof of funds letter and a copy of an earnest money deposit check. So how we do that is everybody in here have a scanner or some way to scan documents in their office or in their business. If not, I would highly suggest going out and finding one. They're relatively inexpensive. With the earnest money deposit check, we simply want a copy, could be a copy of